Okay, so now that we've got our data table made and we've got the anger score calculated and we've got the average rage calculated, it's time for us to take a look at the chart and how to create that chart, how to label each axis on the chart, how to title it, and pick a trend line and show the equation for the trend line. So I'm going to do these next steps all at once. Heading back over to our Google Sheet. When you do your chart, you always want to pick the y-axis first. When you're picking your y-axis, in this case, it's the anger. So I'm going to click, drag, and highlight, and then I'm going to go up to Insert, Chart. Now, it gives me a weird little step right here, but that's because it's going from 30 to 4 to 9. We didn't actually tell it to put anything along the x-axis yet. Now, if by chance your Google chart gave you something that looked like this, it's trying to predict what it is that you want. Since it's trying to predict that you want to graph this data, which doesn't go in order, it's trying to figure out what type of chart you're going to put it in as. We, on the other hand, are going to force it to do an XY scatter. You're going to choose the little menu button right here to edit chart. That's going to take you over to the chart editor, and we're going to choose on the setup to choose an XY scatter. So you're going to scroll through until you get to scatter plots and you see all the chart dots. Now that we have this data set done, we need to tell it to put the number of Legos on the bottom. So we're going to go to x-axis. When you click on add x-axis, you need to click on the little select data. That's the little boxes. And it's going to say, what do you want to do? Click on this box here to tell it that you're going to put something along the x-axis. Now go back over to Legos. Click, hold, and drag on the Legos. I started with Legos and drug all the way down because when we first made the graph, I clicked on anger and went all the way down. If I had only done 30 to 24, then I would want to do just the numbers here. Make sure that you keep those the same. So if you start all the way at the top, do all the way top on the second one. Now I hit OK, and you can see that the number of Legos organizes the data here. It changed it from being a weird V shape into something that looks a little bit better. We are now going to take a look at this and give it a trend line. A trend line is going to be the best fit in between all of this data right here. So a trend line is a customization. When you click on customize, you have some options. We can change the axes and the chart titles. We could change the way the series looks. The series is what is in the graph currently. So I'm going to choose the chart and axis titles first. And it says that we want to put the horizontal axis, the x-axis, needs to be the number of Legos. You'll see that number of Legos appears down here on the bottom. Now your chart title right here, Google tried to make that for you. We want the chart title to always have the same formula. The chart title is always going to be Y versus X. Our y-axis right here is the anger. So instead of Y, I'm going to type in anger. The x-axis is number of Legos. So I'm going to put in the number of Legos. You always want to do your Y value versus your X value for your title. Now that I have the title taken care of and I have my axes labeled, it's time to do the trend line. So I'm going to select the graph, click on that 3 button for the edit chart. And this is another customizing that we're going to do. We're going to customize the data, which is known as a series. And we're going to go scrolling down here until we find trend line. When we click on a trend line, it's going to try to give it the best fit for all of our data. We want to turn that orange. That way it doesn't look like our data. We know that it's a customization rather than being something that was done in the lab. Now, because we did the trend line right here and we colored it, we can go down and show how good that trend line is. It says show R squared. R squared is telling you, is it a good fit or is there a better fit out there? You'll see that when I click on the R square value, it appears up here at the very top. Okay, as you can see, our R squared value right here is a 1. That's really good. If it was not a 1, we want to get as close as we can. So if you have an R squared value that's not very good, you're going to change the type of trend line. So say that you had a logarithmic trend line. That looks like right here, it would not actually fit the data very well. So you would play with this number, right? Or excuse me, this option right here to try to get that to give you an R squared value close to 1. Now you may actually incur when you change it, you see that your R squared value might go away. So when you go through and you change it, you may have to re-click on show R squared. Eventually, you're going to find the one that fits best. As we look at the one that fits best, we have that R squared value of 1. Now it's time to show the trend line. So when it says label right here, we're going to click on that label and we're going to go to use equation. This now gives us our equation that goes with our R squared value. Our equation is 2x plus 0 in this case. So as we look at this, it's a straight line. We've got our R squared value. We have the trend line put in with a different color. We have our chart made. We are ready to go to the next step, which is to create a claim and evidence.